All right, let's go ahead and get started here. First and foremost, appreciate everyone taking time out of their day to join Queue-it and Akamai and share a little bit more about something that we're very excited to discuss. A project that we've been working on collaboration for a long time called our Hype Event Protection. As far as a quick agenda, we'll go through intros so you know who I am and the rest of the speakers. We'll then lead into understanding, what's happening in the world of bots. I'm sure that's something that is top of mind for everyone joining here. How the problem is evolving, changing, why we've created the Hype Event Protection to help take a proactive approach when it comes to ensuring that your customers are first and taking, an offensive approach towards bots. What is it in action? And then we'll open it up to Q&A. So you've heard my voice a little bit here so far. I'm Jared Herman. I'm a key account director here at Queue-it. I see some familiar names within the chat. And if you've interacted with me, I'm solely focused on working with any Akamai customers that are looking to evaluate Queue-it from a waiting room or hype event protection solution. And look forward to answering any questions here today, but also after the session, continuing to have conversations with you all in your evaluation of the hype event protection. And let me pass it over to Martin to do an introduction for himself as well.
Yes, hi, I'm Martin. I'm based out of Denmark. I work at Queue-it. So I started just a while back, maybe 15 years ago, doing the basic programming of the waiting room itself, then transitioned into different roles. I've been doing site reliability engineering, and then I moved into a more product oriented role, product management, and now my title is product architect, and that has led me to be one of the main people behind this hyper event protection product that we're talking about today. Well, that's me.
Hey folks, Ilya Bromberg, out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been with industry for quite a while, 20 many years. Most of that time I spent in customer-facing technical roles. Spent several years being a product manager, and happy to be here and talk to all of you.
Awesome. Thanks, gentlemen. And so kicking things off here, I'm sure most of you are aware of our partnership between Queue-it and Akamai. Most of you are, our customers of both. But if not, just giving you a little bit of background, Queue-it, we've been around since 2010 and help organizations on their high traffic days. Whether it's product drops, the holidays, unexpected sales, flash sales, and all we do all day, every day is work with organizations across the globe to help control that traffic, ensure the back-end systems are operating correctly, performing at a great rate, and giving a great customer experience. We've been working with Akamai for a long time, had an official partnership for 5+ years with some of the large product drops. Most of you have, probably been in one of our queues if you've ever gone and procured, tickets or shoes, whatever the case may be. Our partnership with Akamai really kicked off and got even tighter during 2020. I think you all might remember a pretty large event kind of shut down the world, and we were working with Akamai to come up with a solution over the weekend that can quickly be rolled out to local governments and municipalities for vaccine registrations, and being able to integrate and secure traffic via the edge has led us into over 100 mutual customers working together and solidified the partnership even further, which has led us to today where we are co-creating and collaborating on products together to ensure that your organizations can provide the best customer experience for your customers coming to any online events. and as I mentioned earlier, taking a proactive approach to the ever-evolving bots. A little bit of background on us before we jump into discussing some of the bot problem today and solution that we're having. We wanted to have a quick poll for the group. So when you think of bots and the biggest impact that they're having on your events, and if there are any things if there's something that we missed on the impact that bots may have, feel free to just type those into the chat. We got some mixed variety. I'm not sure if everyone could see the answers or the poll, but it looks like majority of folks have said all of the above. The hoarding piece, website slowdown, lost revenue is certainly a piece of it, and customer complaints as well. But kind of what I anticipated. When we're speaking with organizations, it typically is all of the above. How do we make this better for our customers internally, for our performance of our website, making sure that we're maximizing revenue and running through that. So starting before we jump into what is hype event protection, how is it helping? It's really kicking off understanding what is the bot problem. So I'm going to pass it over to Ilya. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jared. And I appreciate everyone submitting their poll, like the thoughts through the poll, because we've seen, and I was also fortunate actually to see the the rise of bots over the years, right? Since literally the first day when we've introduced the dedicated solution for bot management back then, just because we came to a realization that fighting bots with the traditional means, such as web application firewalls, is not sufficient enough. Bots were quickly evolving from something very basic into a real problem, and naturally, one of the key industries that were targeted by bots were e-commerce, travel, hospitality, and over the past decade, as a result of all that evolution, we've seen what really happens behind the high traffic sales and events such that require registrations. Like, for example, if we just mentally go back to the several years ago when the world was crazy about getting the vaccines and stuff like that. So it was not necessarily a sellout of a highly prized item, but there was a limited demand, and people were like trying to register and get themselves, the vaccine, which was back then in a short demand, right? Nowadays, we see similar events or similar syndromes happening when there are the ticket sellout for shows, because there's a limited supply of those tickets, naturally, or maybe some vendors are dropping some unique, like a designer edition products, right? So when it comes to bots, so regardless, be that script kiddies or sophisticated bots scalping the inventory, the goal that bots are having is pretty much always the same, is to beat real customers, to get their hands on that highly priced inventory, which also has the high potential resale value, right? So the reasons are quite clearly being economical, right? So, and bots are naturally faster than human users, and as a result of that, they can take over sales event where we, mere mortals, visitors, are actually competing for the highly sought after items, right? Which are available in limited stock. And if you can, Jared, start with that. Yeah, thank you. So what are the actual challenges with a situation like that? And the challenges pretty much come after, as a result of the reason that bots are fast. They are just faster than us mere mortals, right? And what we see during the events, that bot can regularly outnumber human users, genuine users, sometimes in a ratio as 20-1. And it's not uncommon to see that some of the waiting rooms and some of those events are being taken over by anywhere between 90 to sometimes even up to 95% of the bot traffic. And as a result, there are the real consequences. So availability is impacted, sites are slowing down and sometimes even crash under load, analytical data getting skewed, and but most importantly, the companies that trying to manage those hype sale events, they spend more on servers to handle the load because they need to over provision and often gamble even how much compute they need to prepare for an event like that. And also fans and the shoppers are getting frustrated, and that inevitably sooner or later that also comes to hurt the brand, right? And blocking bots, like a blind denying their traffic, isn't just about the technology. It matters to customers too. Once we start blocking them, because they're faster, bot operators just respawn those bots, still overwhelming the infrastructure. So that's in essence the quick summary of the challenge. Back to you, Jared.
Yeah, so let me just click in on a couple of things. Like what we see from our side is also that we have customers that actually give up on running these kind of sales because the overhead of doing it is simply just too big. It is basically too much trouble to run the sale compared to what you get out of it. So that's kind of where we wanna chip in with this product. That and then also the fairness part of it, and I think those two places is where we can do a real difference. So when you look at hype sales, let's assume that you didn't have any tool, any bot management tool, or any waiting room tool, then bots will basically use two things to their advantage. They'll use speed. They can check out way faster than any real people can do. So basically grabbing all the inventory and reselling it maybe on secondary markets. The other thing is volume. So they'll spin up a whole a number of virtual users, right? Again, this could be 20 to 1 compared to real people. So, and we had the retooling that Ilya also mentioned. Like, let's say we start logging them. We have a bot tool that can start logging them. Then bots will return when new with new IPs, new settings, and so forth to try to get around the bot tool. And if you kind of have a waiting room in place, then maybe you just sort of move the vulnerability a little bit. But with the waiting room, we can take away the speed advantage because the bot has to wait like anyone else. But then they'll use the volume advantage, and then they'll flood the waiting room with virtual users, basically. So yeah, basically I'm defining the fairness and user experience of the sale.
And that's exactly why we've worked and collaborated with Akamai to create our joint solution, IP Event Protection, that combines Queue-it's traffic management waiting room solution with Akamai's industry-leading bot solutions from detection and ensuring that we're delivering top-tier bot protection for high-demand sales, drops, signups, any event where you're going to have a lot of traffic, doing our best, working to neutralize their speed and volume, as Martin and Ilya have discussed. And, we're excited to share with you all what that solution looks like today. So let's go ahead and dive into, what is IP Event Protection.
Yeah. So over the years, we've seen a lot of joint customers. As mentioned, we have more than 100 customers together between Akamai and Queue-it, and a lot of you and these customers have this problem. So we kind of came together and said, we should be able to do something better than this. So what we saw was that even if our customers have these two tools in place, Bot Manager and the waiting room, bots will find the weak points to exploit because these tools are not really working together in the traditional setup. So we sat down and designed the solution where Bot Manager and the waiting room are working together to mitigate this threat for these bot-heavy events. Basically, in other words, we designed a solution that can take away the speed and the volume advantage that bots have, and high event protection provides this ability to have a more granular control of how to manage traffic and how to manage productivity. And we have come up with a new way of mitigation, basically using the waiting room, the rules of the waiting room to mitigate traffic. So let's dive into how that works. All right. So I don't know, Ilya, if you want to start about talking about what the bot manager role was.
Yeah, happily. I'll spend a minute speaking about that, and then I'll pass the baton back to you, Martin, to talk about the waiting room. The bot manager was introduced quite a few years ago. I think it was one of the first ones, if not the first bot management solution, almost 10 years ago. So in essence, what it does, it detects and scores traffic in real time, allowing our customers actually to distinguish humans from the automated behavior, meaning bots. And in addition, after detecting the malicious traffic, it also provides the whole very rich range of flexible mitigation options and not just a blanket blocking or allowing the traffic.
And the virtual waiting room is basically a way of managing this huge amount of traffic that we have in these types of sales. So the waiting room is designed to absorb this these surges in traffic. So whether that be real people or it's bots, and then we have rules in the waiting room to, in a fair and transparent manner, manage these users and eventually send them to the transaction site. And what's sort of new here is that we combine these two tools, and then what we have built is a way to prioritize genuine users and deprioritize bots.
So a few words about how it all works, right? Now we'll dive a little deeper into the technical aspects, right? Well, usually when we set up an event for hype sales, so those events are usually have a particular start time, meaning that visitors, regardless whether those are humans or bots, like they all need to register and wait for the queue start time. This is that black vertical line right in the middle, the queue start time. So there's a pre-queue on the left and the actual queue on the right. So as visitors, both humans and bots, arrive to the pre-queue, they went for the start of the event, as we just said. And at this moment, Bot Manager is already performing its inspection. And customers who operate Bot Manager can choose whether to act against detected bots already, or it's too early at this stage. In general, we do recommend to wait a little bit, you know. Then the event starts. Next slide, please. Right, thank you. When the sale opens and the event starts, meaning in essence that the countdown hits 0, everyone who arrived on time is actually being shuffled and randomized to ensure fairness and assigned a spot in the online queue. And at this stage, bots are already or have already been identified in the pre-queue. But even in the queue itself, that identification is continuing for the visitors that were passed into the queue. So, all right, so the sale starts. We now have the queue formed. For genuine visitors, humans, you and I, you know, the experience is seamless. We just move to the checkout, for example, through the site in a fair, controlled order at the rate, which is controlled within the queue settings, in the virtual waiting room settings. Any late visitors that arrive, including bots, if allowed, actually join at the back of the line, and that's the functionality of the virtual waiting room. So to ensure that early customers get priority. But when it comes to bots in the queue, we keep continually identifying every visitor in the queue, and what we offer is just the event operators can choose to mitigate the bots while they are in the queue, or, for example, to serve them some challenges to slow them down, right, while they are in the queue. And as we let them gradually progress through the queue, and there's also a choice to mitigate them later in the process when they literally reach the end of it and are almost ready to be sent back, redirected back to the origin, right? The idea here is that by delaying the bot mitigation until it is too late to retool, the hype event protection prevents automated abuse, right? And as we just said, it also reduces the server load, and as a result, it delivers the faster and more fair purchasing experience. Back to you, Martin.
Yeah, so just looking at what the end user experience and all of this is. So if this is the first time you see the waiting room, this is what it could look like. In the pre-queue phase, in the beginning, we have this countdown page where we count down to the event start. Prior to that, we added this lobby page all the way to the left. Basically a page where we ensure that Akamai Bot Manager is collecting telemetry from the user. So mouse movements and browser probing, all those kind of techniques that Bot Manager is using to identify bots. Then when the sale starts to the right of the page here, the user experience for genuine users is just as normal. We will show a progress bar and eventually take the user to the targeting site, or the transaction site. For bots, we may block them entirely, or we may actually allow them to rejoin. Just go to the next line here. We may allow them to rejoin. So basically, they will lose their place in the pre-queue, but they can rejoin at the back of the line. This way, we end up in a situation where we only have the good users from the pre-queue lined up in the queue, and we only have the bots that are allowed to join at the back of the queue. So we're basically prioritizing the real people over the bots. And this is like an important point because this productivity isn't sort of black and white. Some customers would like to have bots blocked entirely. Some will like them to buy if they just buy after the real people have gotten their items. So it's very different from use case to use case, and we can definitely support a number of those with the hype event protection.
Awesome. I think that's a great point there too at the end is that it can be flexible and tailored to how you all want to take control of these events. So when we're looking at hype event protection and kind of boiling it down to three distillate that we've talked about here, it's just ensuring that you're taking that proactive approach when it comes to bot detection. As we talked about, taking the detection from Akamai and then leveraging the pre-queue to really get more visibility into what's happening. Hide those detection essentially from the botters, until we're going from the pre-queue to the actual waiting room, increasing, their resources that they need to use, but also not allowing them to retool quicker, so delaying that. And then, the biggest thing here is the reason that we've created this and the reason our customers have asked for this is all in the name of having a better experience for your customers, ensuring that it's fair, ensuring that those wait times are shorter and that they're getting, first access to those products or tickets that you all are delivering for them. So you might be sitting there and thinking about events that you're running today, high traffic, human traffic, bot traffic, and then trying to think, is this a solution for me? And we're obviously, happy and willing to have further conversations with you all after the presentation. But, when you're thinking about is hype event protection something for me, got a bot manager or account protector. If you're having events that are either high velocity, so there's a ton of traffic, human and bots that are coming to this, that you want to get more visibility, get more control in there, or in addition, maybe it's low inventory events that also have that high velocity, which can be, rather chaotic. This may be the right solution to help you controlling and ensuring your customers are getting first access. And I think that third bullet is kind of the main one, right? Ensuring that your customer has a great experience, that they're getting first access to the products, or access in line to whatever you're delivering to them, taking a proactive approach to bots rather than reactive, and then learning from these events too and iterating as you go. And we'll talk a little bit about one of the use cases or case studies that we've done with an actual event here.
Yeah. As you may know, we went general available with this product around 14 days ago, but during the last year or so, we've been actually running early access program. So we've been executing hundreds of sales using hype event protection. And this is just some data from one of the sales that we did, and this is a European top 5 ticketing company that we've been working with. And in one sale, we actually saw around 98% of the traffic that we mitigated as bots, and basically giving the real, the genuine users a 50 times higher chance of securing the tickets. So this looks like extreme numbers, but it's basically something we see on a regular basis, that there's this amount of bot traffic. And how the system helped this is that there's some basic security measures in place that the bot needs to satisfy before it can actually enter the waiting room at all. So basically, some of the more simple bots that were blocked even before trying to access the waiting room. Then we have hype event protection, sort of the basic functionality of that, of the scoring of users and using the pre-queue for detection and eventually mitigating after the pre-queue is done. And then, of course, additional settings that you can set up in hype event protection to do challenging and so forth, like Ilya also mentioned. So this customer in particular, they had more smooth sale now. We hear that usually bots will sort of enter, they will get the big good places in the queue, and then they'll enter the ticketing side, and then they'll just cart a number of tickets without selling out, without buying any actually. And that is not happening anymore. So the sales are faster, and the tickets gets actually to real fans. Look at this another view. This is sort of the actual data from the sale. So the pre-queue opens here at 11:45, and then users start to arrive. And by the time the sale starts, we had almost 900,000 in the pre-queue. And then bots have been mitigated using what we have explained in this webinar. And the result was that 37,000 genuine fans actually got a spot in the line in the queue. And then this customer allowed the bots to rejoin. So we see some of them rejoin after the sale started. And here's some numbers from a different sale we did. So the numbers are slightly different here, but here we're looking at what's the value of this. So what we have found is that for this sale, we had 10% that were marked as genuine human visitors. And we could see that they actually made up 76% of the transactions of the tickets sold for that event. And we had 64% that we were marked as bots, definitely bots. And those actually just made out 2% of the sales. And so this sale here, again, those bots were placed at the back of the line and genuine users were served first. By the time the bots actually got around to purchasing, they are either given up or it wasn't really interesting for them anymore because the good tickets were gone.
So to kind of wrap things up here and reiterating several of the points that we've talked throughout the process is with hype event protection and taking the collaboration that we've done with Akamai, the know-how from being involved in these events across the globe on a daily basis. We are really trying to help you all with that proactive approach and continuing to iterate as we learn more and more and as bots continue to evolve. And the solution helps with the detection accuracy, preventing bots from retooling, entering the sales, overwhelming your systems, getting in front of customers, or getting access to something before a customer. So, changing that narrative to really a customer-centric approach, which obviously the domino effect of that is increasing revenue, having less oversale, stock fraud, all of that stuff that's going back. And if you think back to arcades or games, the whack-a-mole game where you just see the ball pop up, you're trying to hit it, and keep going around. Trying to take a more pragmatic approach when it comes to events that we know are going to have a lot of bot traffic. So we appreciate you taking time to listen to us today. With that, we'll open it up to Q&A.
So I think there was a question from Adam in the chat about measuring and identifying the false positives. That is definitely the functionality of Bot Manager, and we do collect those metrics. There is an extensive reporting available with Botman, which does allow an analysis like that.
Maybe just to add to it, as part of onboarding new customers and continuous support that we can give to help customers is to look into and analyze the traffic of these events and see can we do something better, tune the model to deliver more accurate results. And one of the like I just showed you is that we can actually also track this conversion rate, so we can get some signals that you wouldn't necessarily have just by using Bot Manager, but you can actually see how large a portion of traffic that completed a purchase, and then correlate that with the bot, what's called the bot detection.
Mm-hmm. And to another question about how quickly can hype event protection identify and react to new bot patterns during the live sale. Those sales are short. We're seeing those sales events being anywhere between like 10 to 15 minutes to maybe just a few hours long. So bot operators usually just have relatively, for short events where the velocity of the bot traffic is kind of more important than sophistication. Botman actually built quite well to adapt to different patterns. So so far we haven't seen. I would say the opposite. We've seen that the bot manager is actually doing his job quite well by identifying those patterns. literally in near real time, and providing relevant and adequate service in cutting the bot traffic. Also, there was a question from Osman. Letting bots in queue increases queue user count, and there is a limit on waiting room. Is it maybe possible to direct bots to separate queue from real users to keep waiting rooms user limited? So, Martin, I will let you respond to the question of multiple queues.
Right. So currently it's not something that we offer in this version of hypervent protection, but it is ideas that we have in terms of like how can we use the rules of the waiting room to mitigate bots in a more advanced, more interesting pattern than we usually know from just blocking or challenging. So I think it's something that will be a future investment. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the next question, Martin, I think that will also be the best question for you about linking the visitor reputation score to the final purchases.
Right. Yeah. So basically, what we have for the customer that I showed the data from is that we had a signal from the customer telling us when the transaction completed. That signal included the queue ID that the visitor had in the queue, so we can link to those two numbers together. And that's something that is available for any customer actually in Queue-it.
Great question so far.
So what are the steps to do this? So from a technical point of view, there are some settings that needs to be done. We haven't spoken much about that, but basically the waiting room, the queued waiting room needs to be an origin to your existing Akamai CDN property. So basically all the traffic flows to the waiting room flows to Akamai CDN, and then Bot Manager can inspect the traffic. So that's the main thing that needs to be set up. It takes around an hour or something to configure that inside of the Akamai portal.
And from the bot manager's perspective, I think what's important to understand is that the approach, the mitigation approach, whether we choose to mitigate, what sort of mitigation options that the event operator would like to put in place, because it's not, as we just mentioned earlier, it's not just a blind blocking the traffic. In mitigation can be more subtle and nuanced, like, for example, redirections to static pages or serving challenges, similar to CAPTCHAs and such, right? And at what phase, right? Because the mitigation can happen in the pre-queue, it can happen through the overall process, and it can also happen at the end of the queue as well. So in ideal situation, with the scenario where all mitigation options are very carefully evaluated and selected before the event is the key to success. Yeah.
And if we have any additional questions, again, we are happy to answer those, go through specific scenarios to your events today, thoughts that you have. If we don't get any more questions here in the next, 15, 20 seconds, we can also wrap up a bit early and give you some time back in your day, and obviously reach out to your Queue-it representative, or feel free to reach out to any of us if you'd like to learn more or talk more on how this could look specifically for your organization. So fantastic. We truly appreciate everyone taking time here today. As mentioned, this session has been recorded. I believe that recording will automatically go out to you via the email that you registered. If you have any questions that you think of, an hour, a day, a week from now, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to have a deeper conversation with you all. We hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and appreciate you joining.